As I mentioned earlier in chapel, this week was supposed to be the International Friends Multiplication Conference here at Barclay. Currently, there's 21 countries involved and over 400 people that are registered. Last night was the first night that we joined together, and we were kind of laughing about this, but all of the sessions are happening on YouTube, and YouTube actually crashed last night. I don't know if you guys know that or not. And so we were just joking around about how the Quakers must have broke the internet last night. I don't know. But anyhow, I thought that was kind of funny. Anyhow, you might be sitting here today going, why does multiplication matter to me? Why does multiplying churches or multiplying Christians matter to me? Well, first of all, I want to remind you that it matters to us because Jesus asked us to do that. For those who are of us who have chosen to walk with Jesus, that he reminds us to go make disciples. It was Jesus' call to us that we would actually be multiplying. I do want to tell you, though, you're actually a part of a multiplication story, whether you know it or not. Over 100 years ago, there was someone from Indiana, some people from Indiana who were Quakers who came to Haviland to start Haviland Friends Church. And so Haviland Friends Church is actually a church plant of friends from Indiana. And later on, people from Haviland Friends Church went to Greenleaf, Idaho, and began to plant churches there. And out of that group from Greenleaf, Idaho, they began to plant churches in Oregon. But the part that's the story about you, whether you know this or not, is the church that was planted here in Haviland by the church from Indiana. The church here in Haviland said, we want Haviland to become a place where people will come from all over the world so that they can be trained, so that we can keep sending them out over and over again to make disciples. So in 1917, Haviland Friends Church established the Kansas Central Bible Training Institute, which is now known today as Barclay College. So we are here today because we are a part of a church plant. So this morning, as we're going to join the International Multiplication Conference, and you're going to hear first a story of church planting, and then we will move along to the main speaker. His name is Ed, and Ed is from the Billy Graham Foundation, and he's going to share a little bit with us about what does it mean for us to be a part of the work of multiplication.
Well, hello. My name is Teddy Omondi. I am a pastor here at Friends Church Fullerton, a church that my wife and I planted in February 9th, 2020. And so just wanted to share a little bit of just how the process has been. It's been about 2 years when I attended actually the multiplication conference, and as I was sitting there, the speaker kept talking just about the multiplication and how as churches we need to really pay attention to that element of always desiring to multiply more churches. And towards the end of the conference, he made a call and said, I think there's some of you here that the Lord is calling to be able to plant a church. And so I think it was really interesting because I believe I was the first person that ran to the front there because it felt so strongly that God was calling my wife and I to be able to start a church here in the city of Fullerton. And so we took the call, we started the process, we did the assessments, and talked to close friends and my lead pastor Rick Darden at that time. And so we decided that this was what God was calling us to. And we didn't really understand what it was, all this was going to take and all that. But I think as 2020 started, we were excited about launching a church and all that. We had about 30 or so people from our sending church, and which is an important element to always have that support around you as you're planning to plant a church. And so as we are starting that journey of getting things ready, we were very thankful and excited about this new journey that the Lord has given us. And so we had an opportunity to start meeting at an elementary school, which was a good option because it was cheap, and for a church plant, finances are always tight. So that was an incredible provision for the Lord that He provided that. So February 9th, we launched our church, and then 5 weeks in, the COVID hit, and I'm sure that many of you have been affected by COVID in different ways. But in the midst of all that, we were ready. We had set up all our video equipment. I wanted it ready from the day we launched our church. And so by being able to have that opportunity ready, we were able to transfer everything. And I was actually live streaming from my living room for many, many months before we relaunched back up again in June 28th. But in the midst of all that, in the midst of those months that we were just kind of even streaming from our living room, it was incredible to see just what God has been doing. God bringing people even just through social media. We've been able to grow even in the midst of this COVID and all those different kind of stuff. And then this a few months ago in June, we were able to find this an outside amphitheater, which was just another incredible provision of the Lord. And He was able to provide us with that opportunity, and so we were able to meet there for a couple months. And so we are really grateful. And now, even as I'm making this video, the Lord has provided another opportunity for us to be able to have a church that's renting us their sanctuary, actually, that they're not using, and that we are going to be using their sanctuary for Sunday morning services, and multiple rooms that we're going to use for our kids ministries and student ministries, and just an incredible opportunity to think about that. And I think even as you are thinking about probably planting a church and all the kind of things, the most important thing to understand that if the Lord is calling you to that, man, take that step of faith. Do not hesitate. As you are even participating in this multiplication conference, what is God asking of you? I believe there's two things. Maybe He's calling you to plant a church, and I would encourage you to take that step of faith and say, yes, Lord, because I know that He provides. He will guide. He will direct you. He will provide all that you need. He might not show you everything, but I think as you can keep on taking each step at a time by faith, the Lord will be with you. And secondly, maybe God is actually calling some of you pastors to be a support, to be able to be there for the church planters. Take that seriously, because we know that we are better together. And if we're able to do this together, it's an incredible opportunity for us to have an impact in the kingdom of God. So I'm excited that you're part of the Multiplication Conference, and I pray that the Lord will continue to guide you, strengthen you, and inspire you to go and plant even more and more churches. May the Lord bless you, and looking forward again to giving you an update on how Friends Church Fullerton is doing. God bless you all. Have a wonderful conference.